all-time triple-double leader.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk some old school NBA basketball. Now recently I started to post a couple of videos where I'm giving you guys my takes on certain NBA events, and I thought, hey, let me give you an honest, a really honest opinion about the NBA's top 75 players of all time list. But before we dive into today's episode, do me a favor, please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoy the content. All right, let's do it. So for those of you who have watched the NBA back in the 1990s and who witnessed when the NBA elected the top 50 players of all time, you guys probably know or remember that there was a huge controversy going on because the list was, well, certain picks were just kind of hard to understand. And obviously, it's super hard to pick such a list, and it always depends on your personal opinion. But I remember I was a kid back in the days, and I already was understanding that some things didn't add up. Like, for example, why wasn't Dominique Wilkins in the top 50 list? I mean, to me, he was a 100% sure pick. That guy already had like over 24,000 points. I think he was in the top 10 of scoring of all time at that point. And we have to remember Dominique always played for the Atlanta Hawks at that time, and he carried the team. And he was playing for the Atlanta Hawks in a time when the NBA had a very strong Eastern Conference. And still, he wasn't picked. So, and you have to remember, I was a kid back then. I did not understand why Bill Walton made the list. And as I told you in the beginning of the video, this list is my 100% truth. So, and I don't want to disrespect anybody, but this is just how I feel and how I felt. Bill Walton to me was a good player and had the potential to be one of the greatest players of all time. But in all honesty, the guy was injured for the majority of his career, and he didn't have that many seasons where he was the guy on his team. He won a championship, which definitely gives him some credit in terms of surpassing some other players that were injured. But comparing him to the other 49 players, his career was not as impressive. So Dominique Wilkins, in my opinion, was the better basketball player because he was putting up sensational numbers for a way longer time than Bill Walton. Of course, Bill Walton won a championship, but still because of so many years of excellence that Dominique Wilkins had, he to me should have been in the top 50 and not Bill Walton. So 25 years later, we got the top 75 list. And I got to be honest, I was shocked. I was shocked in so many ways because the NBA had the opportunity to make certain things right, and it failed again. And let me give you my reasons why. And as I said, this is just my opinion. Obviously, everybody's entitled to his opinion, but that's just how I feel. So when it comes to the players in the current NBA, so guys that are still playing, I personally have the feeling that some players shouldn't be on the list simply because they haven't accomplished enough. For example, let's start with James Harden. I recently uploaded a video explaining why I have a problem with James Harden, the basketball player. And I don't know any of these guys personally, so I can't judge them as a man, which I won't. It's not my place. But as a basketball player, for example, how can James Harden be in the top 75 list? He hasn't won an NBA championship. He is just a sensational scorer, but he's lacking the other most important thing in the game, defense. And if I had to pick back then, I would have chosen a Joe Dumars or a Mitch Richmond over James Harden. Why? And this is also something that I explained in my last video, because in order to be an excellent player, you got to play both ways. What good is a player that is scoring 25 to 30 points, but on the other side, he's costing your team a lot as well? If we dig a little bit deeper, what kind of an effect does a player that doesn't play defense have on his teammates? And what kind of an effect has a player that is good on offense and is also sensational on defense? Like, for example, Joe Dumars also motivated his teammates to be better on defense because he was giving his all. Joe Dumars is a 2-time NBA champion, playing for the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons, a Finals MVP. Why isn't he in the top 75 over James Harden, who has not won an NBA championship, was just good on offense? To me, it doesn't make sense. To me, it's also sending out the wrong signs. It shows that if you are a sensational offensive player and you're suck on defense, you are still up there. And to me, that doesn't make sense. But that's just my opinion. Mitch Richmond won an NBA championship, and I hope I'm not mistaken, but I think he won a championship with the Los Angeles Lakers. And he had a very long, sensational career, was always, for 80% of his career, the best player on his team. But that's just me again. So then we have guys like Damian Lillard, who I personally like. I think he's a great player, and he's sensational, but he hasn't won anything yet. And you're telling me that Damian Lillard deserves to be in the top 75 list when Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, who won multiple championships, who've been sensational throughout their entire NBA career, they are not in the top 75, and Damian Lillard, and even, I don't want to say even worse, but Carmelo Anthony makes the top 75 list? To me, I was shocked and I was angry. I was really, really angry because that, to me, is disrespecting Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. They won multiple championships. They played for a dynasty team. They were incredible players. They would have been the best player on any other team they played for. The only reason they weren't the best players is because they played with Tim Duncan. But other than that, they would have been the best player on their team. And to me, it's a crime that they got snubbed. It doesn't make sense, and that's why I had a huge problem with that. Then you have guys like Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul. Now, with Russell Westbrook, I got to be honest, like 5 or 6 years ago, I really liked him because he showed me 100% effort, and this is something that I really, really appreciate. Nowadays, the thing that I have a problem with is a little bit the basketball IQ, and my prediction actually came true. I always said that Russell Westbrook will suffer when he hits his 30s. Once his athleticism leaves him, he will have a hard time to adjust, which we can see right now. But the guy obviously was the second player who averaged a triple-double throughout the entire season. So I can see where people are coming from. I don't have a problem with it. Chris Paul, to me, is one of the best point guards of all time and falls in the kind of category like a John Stockton. Didn't win an NBA championship so far. I really hope that he does. But what he does is he's a great leader, and he makes every team he plays for better. This, for example, is something that James Harden is lacking. He's not making every team better. So Chris Paul, to me, deserves to be on that list. But my biggest issues, as I said, were Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and James Harden and Bill Walton. And to me, Joe Dumars just should have been on that list. As I said, 2-time NBA champion, one of the best defenders of all time. Just talked to Michael Jordan. He loves Joe Dumars because he was giving him such a hard time. And yeah, anyway, that was just my take, how I feel about that list. I would really like to know who do you guys feel should have been on that list and who should have been removed. Do me a favor, please post it underneath the comments. I really would like to know if I forgot somebody, and I would really like to know your opinion. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was my 100% honest truth, and I don't want to disrespect anybody, but that's just how I feel. Really curious about your opinion. Post it underneath the comments. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on the Basketball Time Machine.